day is wrapping up, we're just getting started.
That's right.
This is Loudwire Nights. Here's your host, Chuck Armstrong.
All week long, we are giving you your final shots at scoring this VIP trip to the Upheaval Festival in Michigan. It is going to be a killer weekend of the best live rock and roll. And every night this week, I've got your final code words that will get you an even better shot at winning this trip. Open up the Loudwire app. You can read all the rules, get all the details, see just what this VIP experience is all about, and you can get entered to win. And that is where you put every code word you hear in so that you can have an even better shot at winning this trip. Tonight's code word comes in the 8 o'clock hour. You do not want to miss it. You also don't want to miss tonight's special guest. We are hanging with the three sisters that make up The Warning. They've got a new album coming out here in just a little bit and a brand new song that I'm very excited to play for you tonight. I can't wait to chat with them, man. So let's get going. Loudwire Nights is on. On June 28th, The Warning will release their latest full-length record, the incredible Keep Me Fed. And tonight, to help us get all ready and excited for what will no doubt be one of the best releases of 2024, I am beyond excited to say we've got the three sisters of The Warning hanging with us, Daniela, Paulina, and Alejandra. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, I got to have you each say hello and give us your name because this is the radio and we have to, put voices to names. So let's jump in.
Of course. Yeah. Hey, I'm Danny.
I am Pau.
And I am Allie.
And we're The Warning.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, listen, I got to say, congrats on Keep Me Fed. I've gotten to spend some time with it and I can't wait for the whole world to hear it. And I gotta imagine for you, there is some level of anxiety in the in-between of finishing an album and then waiting for the world to hear it and get their hands on it. Is that right?
Yes, for sure. I mean, this whole album was just a very different process in which we were writing and recording this album in between tours. So then we finished recording the album and then we stopped touring. So it was just such a jarring, little weird limbo that we had in between. But now we're releasing singles and we're touring with them. So it doesn't feel that bad, but we can't wait for it to be June and for people just to have this album.
How long have you had it finished? How long are you waiting now?
For I think
it's not that long.
No, we finished it in December. Well, we recording.
But we finished mixing it in February. So it's just
6 months already.
No, 5.
It doesn't feel like that long. We've been doing so many things.
Oh my God.
But now that I think about it, 6 months, 5 months is a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's Loudwire Nights. We are hanging with the three sisters that make up The Warning, and we are gearing up for the June 28th release of your next record, Keep Me Fed. It's the follow-up to 2022's Error. And just kind of like you hinted at, a lot has happened since then, in between that record and where we're at today. You've shared the stage with some absolutely massive bands. You took the world by storm at the 2023 MTV VMAs. And you also, and this is really amazing, you became the face of Pepsi Black in Mexico. Is that right?
Yes, we did.
What has that been like? I mean, that's a pretty iconic brand to all of a sudden be, oh, hey, guess what? We're the face of it.
Yeah, no, that has been amazing. We were part of this. It's called the Ripple campaign for Pepsi Black in Mexico.
We did it last year.
Yes, we did.
Look forward to it for this year as well.
Yes.
It's just been really, now that you say it and you start saying the things that we've been doing over the past year. And I can't believe it. I can't believe that we lived through so much and having these amazing opportunities that we've been working so hard to get, and seeing that we're doing it and we're living in that right now. It's just so exciting. And I can't wait for this album to come out and for us to finally do all the things that we're planning to do with the album and just sharing that with everybody. It's going to be amazing.
We're hanging with the three sisters who make up The Warning tonight as we look ahead to the June 28th release of their album, Keep Me Fed. And, guys, we're kind of talking about all these accomplishments and accolades that you've racked up. And just based on your reaction, it sounds like you guys never really take a moment to just pause and sort of relish in all that you've achieved.
We know it's important and we try to do it as much as we can. But yes, everything is
there's always so much going on
fast.
That it's hard to take a moment.
Take that time. Recently, things that we can't necessarily talk about, but very big things are happening. And as they give us these news, we're all sitting down and looking at each other how is this happening? Like, when did we become a band where things like this happen to us?
Yeah.
And it's just like, we all start kind of like tearing up, and we talk about the things that we did that led us to having these opportunities. And it's just such a big domino effect of so much hard work of not only us, the band, but like so many people, like so many teams that work with us and grow with us, and seeing the results of that and celebrating them together has just been very nice right now.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, you guys have been doing this, officially as The Warning, since 2013, but obviously you've known each other for your whole lives, and, probably been dreaming about this or other things, for just as long. It's kind of crazy, right? That it's only been, in some ways, it's only been 11 years, but in other ways, it's like, man, it's been 11 years. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And it's really crazy to think, like, I feel like I have a hard time thinking about like Tiny Danny. Not hard time, like as if like, oh man, that's tough. No, like, and I can't
like imagine.
Remember, it's like,
everything is just so
yeah.
I feel like I've lived 3 different lives just over the past 2 years. Sometimes I'm like, we've been doing this for a decade.
Yeah, it's hard to think about like how we started 10 years ago, and
it's a really weird feeling because we've been playing for a decade, but I feel like we're just starting out.
Exactly.
Like our career is just starting to like, sizzle. So it's just really insane to me that we have the experience of a 10-year band.
Exactly.
But we're just starting out in our careers.
That is definitely a unique place to be in, man, to have, a decade of experience under your belt, but also to have that feeling of, we're just getting started. Tonight we have 3 very special guests. They are sisters, Paulina, Daniela, and Alejandra. You make up The Warning, and you've got a new album coming out on June 28th called Keep Me Fed. But take me back to 2013 if you can. And I know that you don't do this often, right? You don't stop and you don't look back too often, but let's do that. And, you officially come together as The Warning. You start working on your first EP, your first full length. What was the goal for you 11 years ago? Like what were you hoping would happen?
Our goal at that point, I think, was just like get better, because we were still like kind of learning how to play together as a band, because that in and of itself was something that we had to learn.
And
to like,
I feel like no, go ahead.
No, I feel like when we did the EP, when we recorded that, we just did it to like start writing and to have the experience of like record something and record music, and that's how we started writing. So I feel like that was the goal at that point, to like learn how to do that.
What makes me really emotional though is like that was the goal, but the dream is what we're doing right now. Like I was just thinking about this, like what was I thinking about when I was doing that little EP? And it's this, like what we're like the tours that we're doing right now, the shows that we're playing. And it makes me so happy to think that we are literally living out our dreams. Like these are our dreams come true. And
even more so.
No.
Like, we couldn't even imagine that.
Exactly. Like what we're living now and what we lived the past year was the dream.
Literally.
So now that the dreams are coming true and now we're doing more things above that.
Oh man.
It's just really crazy. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever smiled this much in interviews. I love this. This is awesome. It's Loudwire Nights. We are hanging with The Warning, and guys, we're talking about kind of what your goals were back in 2013 when the 3 of you officially formed the band. And now all that you've achieved, you're gearing up for the release of your next album on June 28th. What's the goal now?
That is so daunting to think about. Because it's always been the same one for so long.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just like keep growing, keep sharing our music with more people, and being able to keep writing and keep,
And you know what? Keep being like surprised and just like grateful of it.
That's a great goal.
That is a good
because sometimes things go by so quickly that you forget the weight of what you're doing. Like,
definitely.
We just released the date for our biggest show ever, which would be an Auditorio Nacional, which is a very big venue here in Mexico. It's like a 10K cap. And we sold it out in one day. And when that happened, it was like, what is going on?
This show is in a year.
It's in February.
And like we look back and we did like an 8,000 cap room last year. And when we it sold out like pretty quickly, but it took like months. 4 months, 4 or 5 months. And now in a day, like it's
It's insane.
It's just
So you see those type of
like
things,
those little-
and you're like, what can I dream of? Because after that theater, it's like arenas, and
Yes.
after arenas, it's like stadiums.
They keep
And
shocking us.
So
Like,
it's
that's
just
amazing.
very heartwarming moments like these ones where you can think, like, you can give yourself the space to think, like, what is the next step?
Right.
And like, we're working so hard for those next steps, not only us, but like our whole team, that the goal really is to appreciate like every
Every
step
single
that
one.
we're taking right now.
I absolutely love your attitude and your perspective on all of this. So we are hanging with the three sisters of the warning. And, you know, I want to make sure that that is emphasized, that the three of you are sisters, because, you know, you talk about this goal of the band being to always be grateful and to kind of be humble about where you've come from and what you're accomplishing. And I have to imagine that that's so much easier with the three of you because nobody knows you better than you each do.
Yeah. Because I mean, I see what we're living right now and the growth that we've been having over the past year. It's such a jarring thing to live, like just that change in your life.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing it by myself.
Yeah, no.
Like going through those changes by myself, because obviously our team is living it with us, but they don't understand what it's like to be like the
artist,
person, like the
yeah.
product, the musician. It can be such an isolating experience, but to have that with your sisters, with your family, it's just really, really comforting.
Yeah.
And to know that you can grow in that way with the people that love you the most.
That's awesome. And if any one of you gets out of line or you start thinking, you know,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we got to keep each other in check. Yeah, for sure.
I love it. So, hey, let's, I want to dive into one of the singles that you've released from Keep Me Fed, Sick. And, you know, I said, like, I've never smiled this much in an interview, and I just love the energy and the positivity. But it doesn't take too long to dive into the lyrics to get a sense that there might have been some negativity or anger or frustration behind the theme of this track. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Of course. You know, actually, this is very funny because we have gotten that throughout our music career. It's like, hey, you look like such like happy people. Like, why do you write like such dark lyrics? And we're like, well, no. But like,
Right.
we usually,
I mean, you vent when you
that's
write.
the outlet.
music.
It's normal.
That's the outlet.
Emotions.
And Sick really came from a place where, I mean, we started working when we were really young, like really, really, like we were kids. So there are certain parts of life that we just completely missed out on. Like we just didn't live it. And I feel like one thing that we didn't have while growing up and while we were working is the opportunity to make mistakes.
The rebellious era.
Just like the space and the liberty to make a mistake and not be judged for it, or for it to not have repercussions on your sisters, on your work, on your team. So it's just kind of about venting about that. Like, hey, I want to live. I want to make mistakes. I want to be a mess and just live my life for a second and have like just until it makes me sick. That's how it came about. But now it's more like, I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun song. And that's the way that we play it live. Like, it's just a little rebellious moment within the album of like, hey, screw this. YOLO, let's go.
Amen to that. The new album is called Keep Me Fed. It is out on June 28th. We will wrap things up with the three sisters and the warning right after this. It has been such a pleasure hanging out with our three special guests tonight, the Villarreal Velez sisters, Daniela, Paulina, and Alejandra. You make up the warning. You're getting ready for the release of your next studio album, Keep Me Fed, out on June 28th. And before we wrap up, though, I got to ask you, can you just take me into the experience, into the world of you guys covering Enter Sandman that ended up being on Metallica's Blacklist compilation, that massive compilation that celebrated the 30th anniversary of the Black Album?
Of course. Well, we actually have a history with Enter Sandman because in 2014, was it? 13?
14, I think so. Yeah.
We covered the songs when we were very young. So that's kind of what jump-started our whole career. And then we started making, you know, our music, and so
we went viral with Enter Sandman.
Yeah, we did. So having the opportunity to celebrate 30 years of the Black Album with this song in our own version and along with Alessia Cara was a huge honor. And we actually had very little time to do this.
We had
a week to just like have the idea, rearrange everything because we had to make, a version that really appealed to our sound, Alessia sound, and keep, Metallica's core energy in it. So it was a challenge. It was a challenge.
And we had to record it, mix it, and master it within that week. But it was just such a cool thing for us to be part of this amazing, it also for an amazing cause as well.
Exactly.
Just to participate in everything in it and having this huge full circle moment for us. Mm-hmm. And also we got a very big thumbs up from Metallica from that version, which was amazing for us. And we're really proud of what we did. We love our Enter Sandman version with Alessia. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I do too. It's amazing, and I love that it does set it up. It sets up the whole compilation, and that's such a big burden for one song to carry. But yes. I think it's the perfect song to open the compilation.
Thank you so much.
And as you talk about your dreams and goals over the years, that had to have been a moment where you're just our dreams aren't big enough to even think about getting the thumbs up from Metallica.
How could you come up with that?
You can't imagine that will happen at one point in your life until it does.
That's amazing. Well, you guys are gearing up for a big year, not just the release of Keep Me Fed, but some major shows that you've already talked about. Several gigs across Japan, some huge festivals in Europe later this year. There will be a handful of North American dates. Hopefully that schedule gets bigger and bigger for the fans in America. Keeping my fingers crossed for that. But just want to say congrats on everything that you've achieved over the last 11 years. And truly congrats on Keep Me Fed. It is out on June 28th. Fans can pre-order the album, stay up to date on all of your global touring plans, and set reminders for when tickets go on sale so they don't miss it. Everything at thewarningband.com. Daniela, Paulina, and Alejandra, thank you so much for hanging, and hopefully we can have you back on the show soon.
Oh, we would love that. Thank you so much for your time. Yes.